This is the chilling true story of Arjun Singh, a resident of Majhola in the Pilibhit district. Though his childhood was spent amidst the lush, scenic landscapes of Pilibhit, his father's job eventually moved the family to the hustle and bustle of Delhi. Years passed, and the ancestral home in Majhola became a place visited only during festivals. After finishing his graduation, realizing that the grind of a middle-class life, jobs, marriage, and responsibilities was about to begin, Arjun decided to spend his last long vacation in his village. He sought peace, but he had no idea that this trip would turn into the most horrifying chapter of his life, one that would haunt him for decades to come. In the summer of 2002, Arjun, along with his mother and younger brother, boarded the Purnagiri Jan Shatabdi Express. The excitement was palpable. For Arjun, the 5-day wait for the journey felt like months. As the train crossed Izzatnagar and entered the forested regions near Pilibhit, childhood memories flooded back. The sight of dense greenery and distant hills was a far cry from the chaotic streets of Delhi. Upon reaching Majhola, which had transitioned from a village to a small town over the years, Arjun reunited with his childhood friends Deepak and Rupesh. They looked different, grown up with beards and taller statures, but the bond remained. While reminiscing, they planned a trip to the Devha river and the nearby dam for the following morning. However, that night, when Arjun mentioned the plan to his uncle, the atmosphere shifted. His uncle's face grew stern, and he issued a bone-chilling warning. Go to the dam, but do not even think about heading toward the Dak Bangla. When Arjun pressed for a reason, his uncle grew irritable and refused to elaborate, simply stating that some places are better left undisturbed. Driven by the typical skepticism of a city-bred youth, Arjun dismissed the warning as village superstition. The next morning, the three friends set off on their bicycles. The beauty of the Devha Dam was ethereal, mountains reflecting in the shimmering water, but the mystery of the bungalow gnawed at Arjun. When he finally asked his friends about it, they turned pale. Deepak whispered the legend of Amra, a beautiful mountain dancer from the British era who had been tormented by a high-ranking British officer. Unable to bear the humiliation after he violated her, she had ended her life within the bungalow's walls. Since then, the locals believed the spirit of Amra and the spirits of the officers who died mysteriously afterward haunted the ruins. Ignoring his friends' pleas to turn back, Arjun's curiosity led them down a narrow, overgrown path toward the derelict structure. The bungalow was a crumbling relic, overtaken by vines and surrounded by rusted, abandoned machinery. As they crossed the threshold, the air suddenly turned unnaturally warm and heavy. A faint, hypnotic melody of a sitar began to echo through the corridors. Entranced, the three boys followed the sound deep into the heart of the ruins, passing walls adorned with vibrant paintings of British-era balls and dancers. Suddenly, the music snapped, the sound of a breaking string, and the boys snapped out of their trance. To their horror, the faces in the paintings, which were beautiful moments ago, were now smeared with a black, soot-like substance. Panic set in as they realized they were lost in a labyrinth of decaying rooms. In a distant chamber, they saw the silhouette of a woman sitting with a sitar, surrounded by flickering candles and spectral figures of men in uniforms. Within seconds, the lights vanished, and the woman transformed into a malevolent, dark entity floating in the air, her eyes glowing a deathly white. "Run!" Deepak screamed. As they scrambled toward the exit, an unseen force violently shoved Rupesh to the ground, leaving him with deep gashes. The dark shadow loomed over them, its jaw distended and its shrieks echoing through the forest.
No, its eyes!
Just as the entity lunged, Deepak pulled a goddess Durga pendant from his neck and began chanting prayers with fervor. The spirit recoiled, shrieking in agony before vanishing into the shadows of a back room. Seizing the moment, they dragged the injured Rupesh to their bicycles and pedaled like their lives depended on it, because they did. They covered the distance back to the main road in record time, not daring to look back. When they reached the village at 8 p.m., their families were already searching for them. Seeing Rupesh's wounds and the terror on their faces, the elders immediately understood where they had been. A village priest was summoned to perform a cleansing ritual, Uttara, to rid them of the lingering dark energy. To this day, Arjun cannot watch a horror film or hear the sound of a string instrument without his mind racing back to that suffocating heat and those glowing white eyes. Some legends, he realized, are not just stories, they are warnings written in blood.